Hello, this is Rolf from Tesla Owners US, and the title is a little bit controversial, and I probably get a lot of grief for that. But that is, don't pretend to work at Tesla when you are Twitter. And that is directed to a certain person who is obligated as a CEO to work for that company and not work for his private company. And the story why comes after the intro.
Hear the birds and see the sun. Side by side our fears are done. Oh, the good times just begun. Oh, we know what we have, let's hold on tight. Found what we're looking for in life.
Okay, here comes the story. And the story why I am out. And that was a little while ago when I went out, but here are the reasons why. So if Elon required his employees to work and to come to work, then I think his investors should have the same opportunity to request that as well. And why? The original agreement was probably 50% at SpaceX and 50% at Tesla. That's what he said. And he said, oh, this is a lot of work, 40 hours there, 40 hours there. And for that, I think that most of the investors said, yes, Elon can do that. And that's okay. One is his private company, and the other one is his CEO job at Tesla. And when people came in there and trusted him that he worked for that, then worked that amount, then it was working pretty good, because Elon is the only one person there who are as, let me say, at easy as motivating his people, or strongly motivating his people in order to work for Tesla or work their butt off. Now the conditions really have changed. So in the same way, let me make that closer here to myself, that microphone. So in the same way, Elon asked his employees, the shareholders asked Elon to work for them. And what was the best way, what I used as well, is Elon's jet. Because when you know that he is at Hawthorne, he could have worked at SpaceX or at the Tesla Design Studio, or when he was at Brownsville, he was at SpaceX or at Hawthorne, that you know that he was at SpaceX. He was at San Jose with his jet, or at San Antonio, then he was at Tesla or at the new factory, or at Berlin. Probably in China he didn't have to work for that much more anymore, because it was almost working for himself, because they produced quite good quality, what I saw when I was in Germany and the cars were delivered there. So now the point was when at a certain point of time I saw the jet was landing at San Francisco, and because Elon doesn't drive from San Francisco to San Jose, even when it's 70 miles, and with an electric car, you will really spend a lot of less energy as fueling up 700 gallons of fuel with a private jet. So, but when sometimes even took the jet from San Francisco to San Jose, so then I know that he spent some time at Twitter there, and then he went to San Jose, going over to the Tesla factory there. So then I always knew and could check where is he working. Now, all of a sudden, this has changed, because the control mechanism for where he was working was then deleted from himself, and he never brought up that Twitter account again. And the unfortunate thing happens, there are some people tried to dox him. But he said doxing is not permitted. But the point is, doxing, according to the definition, needs to be with malicious intent. So that I think the person who tried to do that had never had a malicious intent. People who later looked at that probably had malicious intent, and that was not good. However, that was the only way how to check him if he is really working as he's supposed to work for that company. Because if Elon is not there, the company doesn't go forward. And then in the meanwhile, what happened there is he pulled also between 50 and 100 software engineers who worked for full self-driving, for the automated driving for the Tesla, and he pulled them over to Twitter. And that was all for me. And in the meantime, also in San Francisco, there was a car pileup caused by phantom braking.
The CHP has revealed what caused an 8-car crash on the Bay Bridge on Thanksgiving Day. The agency blames Tesla's full self-driving software, saying it braked unexpectedly and triggered the chain reaction pileup. CNN Business obtained the CHP report. It states investigators looked at video evidence which shows the Tesla Model S was going about 55 miles per hour when it shifted into the far left-hand lane on the bridge and suddenly braked. The car slowed to 20 miles an hour and other cars just couldn't stop. 9 people were treated for minor injuries and 1 child was hospitalized.
When even they're saying the safety is their first priority, they still, after 2 or 3 years, hadn't get the phantom braking out of the system. And that time, a Tesla reduced from 65 to 20, and the cars behind couldn't brake that fast because it was very abrupt braking, and it caused a whole pileup of 8 cars behind that. So that didn't contribute to safety. Now, instead of that, I think the software engineer should have taken care of phantom braking and not care of the private company Twitter in order to fix Twitter and put new design to it. Because one thing is his private company, the other one is the obligation that he works at Tesla, which he did not do, and we couldn't control that. And I would even don't know where are the software engineers being paid from. They might be paid still from Tesla and working for Twitter, which is even a worst case scenario. I could not accept that a reallocation of the resources from a publicly traded company to Elon's private company, to Twitter. So, and they should have rather worked, I think, for what they were supposed to work at in order to fix the software. Maybe that would have avoided the 8-car pileup in San Francisco if they still would be working for Tesla at that point of time, because the pileup was just recently and the full self-driving should have been completed at the end of last year, which did not happen. The board was useless because they didn't do any action on this one, and that is the main reason why I then had to sell my shares, because I could not, there's nobody controlling that. Everything went to hell. So, and behind me all the time, the shares are showing up. There is an Investors Day planned for the 1st of March. And what does it do for the Investors Day? Elon hopes probably to be finished with Twitter at that time, then to allocate all of this time more to Tesla for that, and like he was supposed to be in the first place. And this is a problem, but I think the damage is already done. So the damage for saying, I'm the first one in and the last one out, this was not happening, promise broken there. Then to say, this is the last sold, I'm done selling. This has happened 3 times as well, and I will not sell in 2023. Who can trust that? And the other thing is, who wants to trust him invest again in Tesla? Because probably he needs the money to build new factories. Like he said, he wants to build new factories in Mexico or somewhere else. If Elon comes around again, and then I might think about that again. So far, I don't have a proof. I currently see there's only a proof that his own company is more important than the publicly shared company. And many people say that as well. In the worst case, even, this could be a case for a class action lawsuit. And I don't know why most of the people don't jump on this. As you guys know, I have a lawyer in my family. And if that would be in New York and not in Delaware, that would be already a case for that. So my thing is, we need to expect from him the same way. So don't pretend to work at Tesla when you're working for Twitter. And yeah, we have to make the same request as he makes to his employees. So, hey, I'm looking forward for the Investors Day and what he has to tell. But hey, just following your tweet, as you said, is don't pretend to work at Tesla. If you don't, that was your tweet from March 31st, 2022. And that's one of the reasons why, please start working for Tesla again. That's all what's demanding, that everybody's demanding, and maybe then you can turn it around and then you can convince your investors that they keep investing in Tesla again. But otherwise, it's probably the shares will dunkling around there on the lower button there. And then he has no investment, and as lower the shares coming, as lesser the people are trusting him to do that. If you like that, comment, thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and talk to you next time. Bye-bye.